Hey folks, Kevin and Thea here.
Hi you guys, good to see you.
So one of the things Thea's going to do today, I'm going to run out and do some work in the work area, but we're just going to review what we're going to do with our sweet potatoes that we've been growing. Now over the years I have a whole playlist on growing sweet potatoes, and we started off doing it the traditional way with putting sweet potatoes in jars with toothpicks to support them, and then allowing the slips, the new growth, to come out of the sweet potatoes during the winter months or early springtime here. And then we'd pull off those slips and we'd root those before putting them into the ground, because we have such a short growing season here in central New York near Lake Ontario. So one of the things, each year we changed our system somewhat, and this year we're going to change it again. But you may recall that last fall and the fall before, what we ended up doing was, when we harvested the sweet potatoes, after pulling the sweet potatoes, the tubers off of the root mass and pruning off all of the vines that are there, we're just left with little nubs, and we potted those up, or Thea potted those up. So we have 6 pots of sweet potatoes that have been growing, and they were growing right in here under this light since fall time. And now it is October 10th, I think, right?
No, October.
I'm sorry, March 10th. One other thing is, up here in this area here are the hardwood cuttings. Don't turn on the light, no, that's okay. Fine. Of the blueberry plants that I just did the other day. Thea's going to keep them watered. We're not going to turn on a light in here until they start to leaf out. So really, just keeping that soil nice and moist, not soaking wet. It's going to take months for them to start to develop roots, but they may start throwing out some leaves within a couple of weeks' time. There's no heat mat beneath these, but our house is in the 70s to 80 degrees. So that's really good temperature for these to come out of dormancy and start to callus over the base of the hardwood cuttings, and then ultimately in a couple of months start producing roots. But within a few weeks we'll probably start seeing some leaves. So now we're going to go into the kitchen, where Thea just went ahead and pulled apart, because all 6 of these plants were in the den there on that single tray. And so what we're going to do this year, now what we did in the past was, as these in the springtime, we took the vines as they were coming out to the side and laid them down in flats with in soil. And what ended up happening is they throw out roots at the base of each one of these leaves, and then we could separate those and plant those separately. What we're going to do this year is we're going to go ahead and prune off some of the vine itself. Let me see if I can find one here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and prune off this, and we'll prune it off, cut it back pretty darn close to the main plant here. Cut it off here, peel off a couple of leaves, because where these little leaf nodes are, they have the potential of differentiating and starting to grow roots in these locations. And we'll leave a couple of nodes out of the water and all. So these are the quart jars that have our reverse osmosis water in it, so there's no organisms in here. At least 2 to 3 nodes will be placed down into the water level, and at least 3 nodes, 2 to 3 nodes coming out of the water, and they will get misted a couple of times a day. Thea mists her plants in there all the time, and we'll just keep an eye on them and watch them start to develop roots. If the water becomes stagnant or it shows any growth in it or starts to discolor, we'll just change the water. Anything you want to say, hon?
I think that's great. No, they're all untangled now, ready to clip and put it in the water. I didn't put reverse osmosis water in there, so I'll switch it up with the reverse osmosis. The house plants, when I root those, I just use our well water.
Okay, well that sounds good. We'll show you at the end of this some of the plants sitting in the container. But all we're going to do is just prune off some of the vine, peel off the leaves right at where the leaf node is, right here, and then at least have 2 to 3 nodes below the water, and then the rest of and you could just use well water. We don't have to use reverse osmosis water. So there was just starting to change things there. So that's where we're at. So later on, we'll check back and show you how the vines look, and then we'll see a progress report, see if this works or not.
Yeah, we'll show you the roots growing too.
Yeah. All right, that's it. Thanks so much. Okay, Thea and I are back, and we're over here, and Thea got done pruning all of the sweet potato vines, and you can see some of the main. So that was the main root here that we had left, and just stuck that in the soil, and just like a main stalk like this, everything grew from there. Oh, you can see there's actually some sweet potatoes starting in this pot. But got these pruned back pretty well, so it's no longer a big cluster of vines. Why don't you go over and show them?
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, show them what you did here.
So we trimmed those long, tangly vines and left about 2 to 3 nodes to make roots come out the bottom, and then a leaf or 2 on top. And this worked really well with the Wandering Jew I had them exact same place, because this light is pretty good right here. So we have 4 jars, and hopefully all of these will root up.
Yep.
And then we'll go ahead and use those to plant outside.
Yep. So one of the key things when you're doing this is you want to have as little leaf mass up here. Sometimes I'll cut a leaf like this right in half, and I did on a couple of them when we were first getting started there. But you don't want to have 3 or 4 leaves out of each, sorry here, just trying to get the camera here. 3 or 4 leaves coming out of each one, just like 1 leaf or 1.5, or just the beginning of one like this. You want to reduce the amount of transpiration or evaporation from the leaf surface, but Thea goes ahead and she misses all of her plants in here every day anyways.
Yeah, twice a day, morning and night, everybody gets it. And the plant behind Kevin right there is the ones I took out of the jar with the great roots by doing the same thing.
Yep.
They were over there for several months, and now it's a beautiful plant.
Beautiful. Okay, maybe one of these days Thea will give you a tour of her plants
Yes,
in each room.
I will certainly get to that.
Okay. All right, hon, you want to close this out?
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it and thought it was helpful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And we really appreciate you guys tuning in and seeing what we're up to here. Have a great day.
All right, folks. Bye-bye now.